My name's Carter Kessler. I'm from Athens, Georgia. I'm really happy that you were able to make it out here today. What I would say is, just in the interest of everybody else getting a chance to speak, maybe you'll curtail some of your responses. We've been here for 45 minutes, and you've talked for about 42 of them. But I've got a real simple question. You say we live in a republic. I disagree. I think we live in a kingdom, because government services are more important than our individual rights, because you all seem to think that we can't handle being responsible for ourselves. So in light of that, my question is very short, very simple. Does the Federal Reserve System help or hurt everyday Americans?
Well, as the Federal Reserve I can give you the short answer to abide by your wishes, which is it hurts. I'm going to take the next question, but I want to give you more. I want to give you more. What we do is we charge the Federal Reserve with two separate responsibilities. We charge them with controlling inflation. That was their original responsibility. And we have now added job creation, unemployment, to their other responsibility. Well, those things are inversely related. When you control inflation, you reduce employment opportunities. And when
I'm sorry, they're not audited. They ought to be audited.
They should be audited. And the Federal Reserve, now I want you to think about what's going on for the last 4 years. If we're going to have a Federal Reserve, we can have that argument about whether we should or whether we shouldn't. But if we are, it can get controlled by two places. Either it can be relatively independent, or it can get controlled by Congress. Now, the only thing scarier than Alan Greenspan and Ben Bernanke is Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid. Now, you tell me who you want to control that, and that makes it easier. But we don't get all the information as fast as I would like to get it. And I'm a co-sponsor of Ron Paul's Audit the Fed.
Woo! Stand up and speak up and shut up. But I prayed about this meeting that would stay in order and not get to be a ruckus. And I prayed about my remarks that they ought to be short and to the point. I'm concerned about our country. I've given up on the morality seeking for our churches to get send some more people that are Christians to Congress. We've got a lot of moral problems that we need, and our church need revival. But I pray for this country every day. God save America. I love this country. I've been here 83 years. From 1776 to 1913, our dollar bill increased in value. If I print money, I'm a preacher, I wouldn't do it. They'd put me in jail. But Federal Reserve keeps printing money, and our dollar shrinks in value. We get $1,225 a month from Social Security. We're careful. Some seniors are really hurting. We're not. But we're very careful. We're scraping. But I think that Congress needs to learn to live with their means. I plugged in where there are 200 millionaires in Congress. We send them there, and they stay a lifetime. They get benefits that we don't get. We need to cut spending. We don't need SARS. We don't need the NEA. We need our own states to control our education.
Let's talk about that Going back to the Federal Reserve, you know, when we were on the gold standard, we still had inflationary and deflationary times. Right? Inflation and deflation don't depend on whether you have a central bank or not. They exist in economics at large. When you're on the gold standard, you have to force deflation, right? Because gold is what gold is. You're not printing any more gold, and so it creates deflationary times. And they found that interesting thing when they left the gold standard. Apparently, Americans are good when the wage goes from $10 to $12 an hour, but they're less excited when it has to go from $10 to $8 an hour in deflationary times. And we can identify with that.
Not if your purchasing power goes up.
Well, the dollar's still changed, Shane. The dollar's still changed. Now, you and I have talked at length, and we're not, in the spirit of brevity, we're not going to be able to have that whole conversation here. But that's the leaving of the gold standard, is inflation versus deflation. But yeah, when you're keeping interest rates at zero, who's benefiting? In theory, it would be our entrepreneurs, except they're scared to death of risking any of their capital because they have no idea what's going to happen. Who's losing? People on fixed incomes who are counting on interest rates being at a reasonable level so they can afford to be in their retirement. There are winners and losers in every one of those decisions, which is why, to the extent that we can eliminate decisions that Washington is making on our behalf, every single decision we cut out pays. Every single decision we cut out pays, because you and I then are not burdened by the unintended consequences. And let me talk to you about millionaires in Congress, because that's important to me. I'm not one of the millionaires in Congress. And I'm grateful.